Welcome back. We're continuing our deep dive into conflict resolution. In part 1, we talked about the AEIOU model.
Yeah, that was a great way to look at like a practical framework for working through conflict. This time we're diving into something called navigating beliefs.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like a friendly exploration of,
Yeah.
how we know what we know. And for you listening, I know you're all about knowledge and understanding different perspectives.
For sure.
So this is going to be right up your alley.
Awesome.
This deep dive is based on excerpts from a text all about navigating beliefs.
Okay, cool.
And we're going to unpack all the key elements of this technique for you. So what exactly is navigating beliefs?
Well, it's a conversational technique rooted in Street Epistemology, focusing on how we form our beliefs.
Okay, so it's like talking about beliefs.
Yeah, exactly. And it uses this Socratic-style approach,
Oh, interesting.
emphasizing open-ended questions and self-reflection.
Oh, that's cool. So it's not about arguing or debating.
No, not at all. It's more about guiding someone to examine their own beliefs
Obviously.
and understand the reasons behind them.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So how does this whole process work? Where do you even start with navigating beliefs?
Well, the first step is to clearly articulate the belief in question.
Okay, so you got to figure out what exactly is the belief we're talking about.
Right. And it should be a belief that's personally significant to the individual.
So it's going to be something that really matters to them.
Yeah, something they hold dear.
Okay, so we've identified this core belief. What's next?
Then you move on to exploring the reasons and evidence behind the belief.
So why do they believe this?
Exactly. What are the reasons they give for holding this belief?
Uh-huh.
What evidence do they have to support it?
Gotcha.
And it's also about understanding the reliability of those reasons and evidence.
So where do they get their information from?
Right.
Yeah.
Is it based on something solid?
Yeah, makes sense.
And this is where epistemology comes in.
Oh, yeah. Epistemology, I remember that term.
It's all about how we know what we know.
Right. It's the study of knowledge, right?
Exactly. So navigating beliefs kind of uses that framework to encourage people to think about their own reasoning process.
Okay. So,
How did you arrive at this conclusion?
so it's not just about the belief itself, but how you got there.
Exactly. It's about understanding the HOW.
That's really interesting. So what happens after you've explored the reasons and evidence?
Well, the next step is to evaluate the strengths and limitations of those reasons.
Okay, so you're looking at the reasoning itself.
Yeah. Are the reasons strong?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any weaknesses in the evidence?
I see. So it's about critical thinking.
Yes. Encouraging self-assessment of the thought process.
I like that. It's about making people more aware of their own biases, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And limitations in their thinking.
That can be tough to do though, right?
Yeah.
Admitting you might be wrong.
It can be, but the approach is very non-confrontational.
Oh, okay, that's good.
It's not about attacking the person or their belief.
Right.
It's about guiding them to see things from different angles.
So it's more about opening up their perspective
Exactly.
and hopefully getting them to think a little more critically.
Yeah, exactly. Now, after all that, you got to consider new information.
Okay, so even if you've examined your belief really carefully, you still got to be open to learning new things.
Absolutely. That's a crucial part of navigating beliefs.
Maybe there's some evidence out there that you haven't considered yet.
Right. And that new information might change your perspective.
Always be learning, right?
Exactly. It's about embracing the possibility that you might not have all the answers.
That's a good point. So at the end of the day, what's the goal of all this? What are you hoping to achieve with navigating beliefs?
Well, it's not about convincing anyone to change their mind.
Okay, so it's not like a debate.
No. It's more about fostering self-awareness, helping people understand their own beliefs on a deeper level.
So it's more about personal growth.
Yeah. And encouraging a more nuanced and informed perspective on things.
I like that. It's you're not trying to win an argument. You're trying to help someone grow.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe in the process, you'll learn something new yourself.
That's a great point. And you know what? I have a thought-provoking question for you, our listener.
Oh, I like these.
What's a belief that you hold with strong conviction?
Ooh, good one.
And what process led you to that belief? What were the steps along the way? What experiences shaped your thinking?
It's fascinating to think about, right? How we come to believe the things we do.
It really is. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Time flies when you're having fun.
We hope this exploration of navigating beliefs has given you some food for thought.
Definitely.
And maybe even inspired you to examine your own beliefs a little more closely.
It's a journey worth taking. what's going on this farm that the cows are so invested in getting more subscribers. It's
very odd. Navigating beliefs really seems like a powerful way to address those deeper layers of conflict that often get ignored.
It can be. But it's important to remember that no single technique works for every situation.
Right, there's no magic bullet.
In our next dive, we'll explore
when might one be a better choice than the other.
Choosing the right one depends on the conflict and the people involved.
Okay, that makes sense. Awesome. I can't wait.